You were sold a dream. It is the same dream your parents had and their parents before them. The American dream, the global dream. The deal was simple. You go to school, you get a job. You work hard for 40 years. You pay your taxes. You follow the rules. And in return, when your hair turns gray and your body gets tired, the government will take care of you. You will sit on a beach, sip a drink, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. That dream is a lie. It is a mathematical impossibility. There is a number that the World Economic Forum, the International Monetary Fund, and your local politician are absolutely terrified to say out loud. $400 trillion. That is the retirement savings gap projected for the year 2050. Let me put that into perspective for you. The entire GDP of the United States, the richest country on earth, is only about $27 trillion. The hole in the pension system is 14 times larger than the entire U.S. economy. This hole is not just a debt. It is not just a number on a screen. It is a bounced check. It is a promise made to billions of hardworking people that cannot mathematically be kept. And your generation? You are the one holding the bag. You are standing in line at a bank that has already run out of cash, waiting for a teller that went home 20 years ago. Welcome to Macro Systems Lab. Today, we are not just talking about economics. We are decoding the largest default in human history, the total collapse of the global pension system, and most importantly, why you need to opt out of the system before it drags you down with it. To understand why your money is gone, we cannot look at today. We must travel back in time to the year 1889. The place is Germany. The man is Otto von Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor. Bismarck is the man who invented the world's first state pension system. History books will tell you he did it because he was a kind man who cared about the elderly. That is false. Bismarck was a strategist. He was a cold-blooded politician facing a threat, the rise of socialism and Marxism in Europe. He needed a way to bribe the working class to stay loyal to the state. So, he offered them a deal. Work for the German Empire, and the empire will pay you a pension when you retire. It sounded noble. It sounded like charity. But Bismarck had a secret weapon. A cheat code that nobody at the time noticed. Math. In 1889, Bismarck set the retirement age at 70 years old. But do you know what the average life expectancy was in Germany back then? It was 40. Let that sink in for a moment. The system was designed for you to die 30 years before you ever qualified for a single payment. It was brilliant. The young workers paid their taxes immediately, thinking they were saving for their future. The government collected that cash and spent it on wars, palaces, and infrastructure. They knew, statistically, that almost no one would live long enough to ask for their money back. It was insurance against a revolution funded by the dead. For decades, this Ponzi scheme worked beautifully. Governments around the world, from the US to France to Japan, copied Bismarck's model. They collected the money today, promised to pay it back tomorrow, and relied on the Grim Reaper to balance the books. Fast forward to the year 1950, the golden age of the West. The system still worked. Why? Because of the dependency ratio. In 1950, there were 16 workers paying taxes to support just one retiree. Imagine a dinner party where 16 people are splitting the bill for one grandfather. The cost per person is tiny. Everyone is happy. The economy is booming. But then, humanity did something unexpected. We broke Bismarck's golden rule. We stopped dying, and we stopped breeding. Due to modern medicine, sanitation, antibiotics, and peace, we are living into our 80 seconds, 90 seconds, and even 100 seconds. We are collecting checks for 20 or 30 years longer than the system was designed for. At the same time, due to economic pressure, urbanization, And cultural shifts. Birth rates have crashed below replacement levels across the entire developed world. Look at the data. It is terrifying. Today, that ratio of 16:1 has collapsed. In the United States, it is down to 2.7 workers for every 1 retiree. In Japan, it is nearing 1:1. Think about that dinner party again. Now, there is only one young person left at the table to pay the bill for the grandfather, and the bill has gotten 10 times more expensive. That young person is you. You are trying to support a retiree, plus yourself, plus your own family, in an economy where wages have stagnated. It is mathematically impossible. In financial terms, this structure has a name. It is called a Ponzi scheme. Bernie Madoff went to prison for doing exactly this, using money from new investors to pay off old investors. Governments call it Social Security. They call it solidarity. But a Ponzi scheme only works as long as there is an endless supply of new investors. The supply of new investors, the children, has dried up. The music has stopped. And there are no chairs left. So, what happens when the math breaks? What happens when the account hits zero? We don't have to guess. We just have to look at the news. Look at France in 2023. The government tried to raise the retirement age by just 2 years, from 62 to 64. What happened? The country burned. Millions of people took to the streets. Garbage piled up in Paris. Cars were set on fire. The people felt betrayed. They had upheld their end of the contract, and now the government was changing the terms. But France is just the trailer for the movie that is coming to America. The U.S. Social Security Trust Fund is projected to be depleted by 2033. That is less than 10 years away. When that day comes, the government has 2 choices. Option 1, the hard default. They come out on national television and tell you the truth. Sorry, the money is gone. We have to cut your pension benefits by 30% or 50%. This happened in Greece. It happened in Russia in the 90 seconds. It leads to poverty, chaos, and political suicide. No politician wants to be the one to say, "I lost your money." So they will almost certainly choose option 2, the soft default, also known as the silent theft. They will print the money. The Federal Reserve and central banks will create trillions of new dollars, euros, and yen out of thin air. They will buy the government bonds to fund the pension checks. You will receive every single dollar they promised you. The number on the check will be exactly what you expected. But because they flooded the system with new money, the value of that money will collapse. The cost of bread will double. The cost of electricity will triple. The cost of medicine will skyrocket. You will be a millionaire on paper, but you won't be able to afford heating in the winter. This is the ultimate trick of the modern state. They don't have to declare bankruptcy. They just dilute your life savings until they are worthless. Inflation is not an accident. It is not transitory. It is a policy. It is the tax on the elderly to pay for the mistakes of the past. But wait, I can hear you saying, "I don't rely on the government. I have a 401k. I have private investments. I am safe." Are you sure? The 401k was a massive social experiment started in the 1980 seconds. The goal was to shift the risk of retirement from the company to the employee, and that experiment has largely failed. Most pension funds and 401k plans are filled with standard stocks and bonds. They are trapped in what we call the everything bubble. Pension funds are the biggest whales in the stock market. They need the stock market to go up 7% or 8% every year just to stay solvent. But what happens when the demographics collapse? When the baby boomer generation, the largest generation in history, retires, they shift from being buyers of stocks to sellers of stocks. They need to sell their assets to pay for their living expenses. When everyone sells at the same time, Who is buying? The younger generation is smaller, poorer, and drowning in student debt. They cannot afford to buy the assets the boomers are selling. This creates a liquidity crisis that could crash the stock market by 50% or more right at the moment you need to cash out. Your private portfolio is not a safe haven. It is just exposed to a different kind of risk. The era of the nanny state is over. Bismarck is dead, and his system is dying with him. You cannot rely on a promise made by a bankrupt entity. You cannot build your house on a foundation of sand. So, what is the solution? Self-responsibility. You must build a retirement fund that does not depend on the printing press or the promises of politicians. You need to move from paper promises to hard assets. Own things that cannot be printed. Gold has preserved purchasing power for 5,000 years. Silver, prime real estate. Bitcoin. These are assets with a finite supply. 2. Eliminate debt. In a high-inflation, high-interest world, debt is modern-day slavery. 3. Learn macro. The game is rigged, but if you understand the rules, you can position yourself to win. The check is going to bounce. Make sure you don't need it. Don't wait for the government to save you. Save yourself. I am Alex. This is Macro Systems Lab. If you want to survive the coming wealth transfer, hit that subscribe button. The warning has been delivered.